Cincinnati will receive. Jace Gilbert will handle the kickoff chores. Logan Wilson, number 13, is in single safety, and he lets it go through for the touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25, and the aforementioned Brendan Sorsby makes his way out. Redshirt sophomore from Denton, Texas, home of North Texas State. You may be aware, just north of Dallas, Texas.
And Tim, watching the film, immensely talented.
Oh, yeah.
The ability to run the football, the ability to throw the football. However, like I talked about in the open, sometimes being a superhero is not needed. Their defense has played outstanding in the last few weeks. And last week, if he doesn't turn the ball over, they win that football game. So can he stay away from that big mistake tonight is the challenge.
Spent a couple of years at Indiana. After breaking his hand his senior year in high school, that was the only D1 scholarship offer he had. But now here he is at Cincinnati. That pitch to Jackson. Barry Jackson Jr., the wide receiver, coming over to take that. And Cooper Ebel was there for a loss of 5. And that's what this defense wants, to get TFLs, put the offense behind the chains.
Yeah, we talked about the injuries at the second level. Well, the one consistent person that's not getting injured, Cooper Ebel, he does an outstanding job of dissecting this and getting outside and making that play. He's a sure tackler on this Iowa Cyclone defense.
On second down and 15, on the check down, Royer, the tight end, the intended receiver, he was well defended. It goes incomplete. Let's take a look and see who's doing good in this game, Devin.
Yeah, there's some guys that have been playing really well. Obviously, we just talked about Cooper Ebel. He just continues to be consistent. He's third on the team in tackles. He's a tackling machine. And then Corey Kiner, a guy who we haven't seen get going just yet, but he's going to be the reason this team for Cincinnati, they continue to move the football. They have to put the ball in his hands to try to protect their quarterback from himself.
Kiner is an LSU transfer after a season in Baton Rouge. And he is the setback with Sorsby. And he pulls it down. And he is just a yard shy of the first down at the 34. Tackled by Marcus Neal. The freshman pressed him to duty, a 14-yard gain. And here we go with a 4th and 1.
Yeah, he gives them a real chance to go for this here. I mean, outstanding job getting to the second level by the offensive line, but like we talked about, his running ability stores me. Now, this is a very risky deal here. I would go hard count, see what you get first, but if they don't get this, this could be a huge momentum shift to start this game.
They are 67%, so the analytics favors the roll of the dice. 8 out of 12 on 4th down conversions. And Sorsby pulls it down and has it. Little quarterback counter action. Jontez Williams comes up to make the stop. What a tremendous conversion after staring at 3rd and 15. Gain of 7.
Take a look at the key block. Joe Royer, he runs and he's got to kick out, right? He's got to be the guy to get this play started. It's a little quick fake, and now you got 2 lead blockers in the hole. Royer makes the block and he spins. He's down. He's got a first down.
That's supreme confidence that Scott Satterfield has. He's calling the plays. He gets some help from Brad Glenn, his offensive coordinator by title. And Kiner takes it off the left side. About a yard, and that is all. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Tyler Onyedem, along with Jack Sadowski, number 33, in on the stop. He'll back up Ebel. Bo Freeler banged up. Okay, that's been problematic. They've had the corners, safeties. The good news is guys like Verdon available to go, it would appear, but playing with a bad arm, a bum arm. But we saw him at practice yesterday, and he's out there right now, number 7 in that secondary. Oh, great play fake. Absolutely to perfection. And that pass is caught by Tony Johnson inside the 35 to the 34 of the Cyclones. That was a frozen play fake.
Really well-designed play, right? You go fake the inside zone, and then the reverse, right? It just forces the defense to freeze, and then behind them, you've got open guys running down the field, a nice over route, and an easy completion for the quarterback, Brendan Sorsby.
23 yards on the reception. Janoy Hayes, the wide receiver, goes flanked to the top of your screen. Kiner remains the setback on 1st down. Kiner spun down at the 30 for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. That's Miles Purchase coming up.
The challenge for this Iowa State defense is to weather the storm, right? Because in the beginning of the game, like we've talked about ad nauseum in other games, is those openers, right? You're going to get the kitchen sink thrown at you. They've watched all the film. They know what could hurt you, and so you get a lot of window dressing, fake reverses, different things like that. Can you weather this storm and get out of the openers is the question.
And a lot of intellectual property shared with both of these programs because of the relationships of the coaches. That pass is caught by Xavier Henderson. And he gets away for a first down inside the 20 to the 18. Jeremiah Cooper, who was questionable coming in at free safety, makes the stop.
What a nice job and a nice recognition by Brendan Sorsby. That's a wide open catch for Henderson because his guy blitzes, right? You see the blitz, you attack the blitz, and it's a pickup of a first down.
Now the good news, if you're a Cyclones fan, it's good to see guys like Verdon and Jeremiah Cooper out there. How long can they be out there, and how much do they have to give after being banged up? Pryor's in the backfield now, Evan Pryor, and he's going to take this pass, safety valve, and he slips down. Just what Coach Satterfield was talking about earlier in the week. He was, shall we say, a bit critical of the field here at Jack Trice Stadium.
Yeah, and he said it's not just the away team. Both teams slip a lot. He doesn't like the footing of the field, and you can see right now one of the most explosive players on this offense just falls down, right? Nobody touches him. But that's a nice job by Brendan Sorsby. Not trying to do too much. He sees that his initial read front side is not there, so he moves his feet and his eyes together. He finds his check down, gets it to an explosive player.
Gain of 6, so it's 2nd and 4. And they go trips to the top of your screen. Pryor is the setback. And they're going to go option towards the wide side of the field. Touchdown, Evan Pryor. Boy, they got that done with formation, didn't they? They had the 3 wide receivers getting all that attention from the secondary, and then they go option in that direction.
It's such a nice job by Brendan Sorsby, though. He doesn't pitch this too early. He attacks and makes Ellis commit, and then he pitches the football, right? When Ellis is in complex number 44 in black, he has nothing he can do. He has to take the quarterback or the running back. He takes the quarterback, and it's a touchdown for Cincinnati.
Yeah, you're right. That was Jacob Ellis that was in no man's land. Pryor with his 6th touchdown of the year, and Nathan Hawks in to tackle on the point. I'll go back to that 3rd and 15 scamper by Brendan Sorsby. Got him to a 4th and 1. They did not hesitate, and they got the first down on a Sorsby run. And this drive was dynamite. Reception. He's had 4 touchdowns of 50-plus yards, but he's not been as consistent. You saw them go with Kiner early, and then Pryor for the out pitch on that drive. Jalen Jackson will let this one go through the end zone for the touchback. And here comes Rocco Beck and company with the mission ahead. When you think about this, this is an Iowa State team that relies heavily on his leadership and his accuracy. His accuracy has been questioned at best when they've lost games or when they've struggled in games.
Yeah, and the thing for Rocco is he's got to get going, right? He's got to get early completions, and his offensive coordinator, Taylor Mauser, is going to make sure that he gets some of those easy completions to get him going, because when he's hot, he is rolling.
By the way, that was the 3rd time this year that Cincinnati scored on their first series. Carlos Hansen, think about this. Carson Hansen was banged up, and most of us believe that Abu Sama is a guy that you have to keep an eye on in tonight's game, but it's good to see a healthy Carson Hansen who's been nursing a hamstring. They try him again right up the gut. This time he's pushed back right at the point of attack. No gain. So it's 3rd down and 6 for Iowa State.
Yeah, Tim, watching him in walkthroughs, albeit a walkthrough,
yeah,
it didn't look like he would be able to go, but he's tough, and he's been their bell cow, right? He's really taken on the responsibility as lead back, and he's run the ball well, but you see Abu Sama coming in. He's that home run hitter. He's the one that's really got the ability to get the ball to the end zone from far distances out, and he's really improved as a runner over the season.
Yeah, Matt Campbell thought this would be the game that he could possibly break out in, number 24 in the backfield with Beck. And this is over the middle to the tight end, 84, Gabe Burkle for the first down, out to the 39-yard line. They've really been injured at tight end this year as well.
It's just a stick route, right? He comes over, hooks up, and he's just big and friendly for the quarterback. Versus zone defense, those tight ends are so important for any quarterback, especially Rocco Beck. He finds his tight end, and it's a pickup for a first down.
The foundation of Matt Campbell's offense going all the way back to his days at the D3 level, always with outstanding tight ends, and their depth chart is runneth over with tight ends as they're really down to number 4. As you see the pressure coming inside, and Beck forced out by Jared Bartlett. Who's doing good, Devin, with these Cyclones and the Bearcats defensively?
No, is a guy who they depend on. He's the leading receiver on the team last week. 8 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then on the other side, Dante Corleone. I'm just telling you, the Godfather. He is a staple in the middle of that Cincinnati defense. He's going to have to do a good job of pushing the pocket and making Rocco Beck uncomfortable.
Connor Moberly, number 5. We were told that he was going to be a part of tonight's package. They're going to use him to run, not allow Rocco to take too much of a beating. He comes in on that particular play to gain 5. Moberly, a freshman from Altoona, Iowa. That man they're very high on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a changeup. Some way to get some of those plus runs that you see all around the country with the dynamic runner and take some of those hits off of Rocco Beck. And Moberly is a young quarterback with a lot of talent.
Carson Hansen back in at running back, and Rocco back in at quarterback. 3rd and 5. In trouble and down. That was Bartlett that got through there, the Mike linebacker. Boy, he is a stud. 6.5 sacks on the year. That's another one for him as they lose 4 on that play.
Yeah, we talked about doing good. Take a look at Corleone here. He's the reason that this quarterback is pushed to the linebacker, right? He pushes the pocket, it flushes Rocco Beck out, and then Bartlett comes and makes the play.
We've got a flag down. Pre-snap should be a false start. So we've got a do-over coming. You said Corleone, the Godfather at
The
work,
Godfather.
disrupting that play.
Yeah, I just talked about him pushing the pocket and making Rocco Beck uncomfortable, and he does it perfectly there. And when you flush him out, now those linebackers can fly and make plays.
Offense, number 56, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, those kinds of mistakes really bother that man. 95 and 65 in his 14th year overall. Mays with the fair catch after a 34-yard boot from Tyler Perkins. Cincinnati off to the races early, lead by 7 on the road. Very, very close. And I can tell you that man right there is so happy with the fit,
of course,
that he has at UC. The time at Louisville was enjoyable for him, yes. But this man who made his name at App State in the Sun Belt really believes that he fits perfectly at Cincinnati.
Yeah, getting a chance to talk to him on the field, he said, hey, Devin, we're not there yet, but we're on our way. And I think that he's exactly right.
Corey Kiner, the lone setback, have a pistol look here. Sorsby with time. Goes through all of his progressions and then finds his tight end, Francis Sherman, 44, with a marker down right behind him at the 34-yard line. So we'll check the flag after a 16-yard gain. Preliminary indication it's against Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive pass interference on the person that made the reception, Francis Sherman.
Pass interference, offense, number 44, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You're going to see him get vertical and watch him just bury his head into the defender, push him to the ground, and then he's wide open, of course. But you can't do that, right? He's a guy that's used to blocking, right, doing his thing, putting his face on people. But when you're running routes, you just can't be that physical.
You know, I got basketball season coming up soon. That would be, as they say, a quality pick.
Yeah.
In a Big Ten or Big East basketball game.
Well, he's a big guy. He's thinking, wait a minute, what did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Or maybe we'll keep it in the Big 12. Dickinson of Kansas, right?
Yeah,
Sets
guy.
a pick.
Former Big Ten
Former
player.
Big Ten player at Michigan, right. 1st down and 20 from the 10 now. Hanger. Boy, they are just getting yards at a chunk on the ground, aren't they? That's 16 yards on the ground on 1st and 20 with a gaping hole over the left side.
Yeah, and the defensive line, they stunt, right? They stunt out of the way, right? So it's up to these linebackers to fill this gap, and they're not able to do it. They do a nice job of pulling around. Big DeAndre Buford, number 56, out of Detroit, kicks out, and then you allow Kiner to have that kind of space. I'm just telling you, we talk about all the good running backs around the country. He's one of the good ones.
On 2nd down, we'll call it 5. Kiner hit right at the line of scrimmage by free safety Jeremiah Cooper coming up in run support. And it'll be 3rd down and 4. They'll give him 1.
At the onset here early in the game, it looks like Iowa State's defense is going to need that help from the second level, right? So if you have that help from the safety position, you know that Cincinnati's going to go to that play action and try to get those passes behind linebacker depth.
Well, Dominic Orange is not as big as the Godfather, but he's pretty big in that middle. Kiner is the setback.
You got Henderson at the top of your screen, one-on-one coverage.
Oh boy, there's another slip. Turf Monster once again rears its ugly head on Corey Kiner. And he'll lose yardage, and they'll be in a punt formation after dropping 2 right here.
Yeah, we highlighted it that they said this turf is not great for footing, and that's 3 slips in the game already that time, and an important one on 3rd down.
Might be time for a shoe change.
Possibly.
On the far sidelines.
Big Johnny at Michigan, he used to always say, hey, gotta get our long studs. Get our 7 studs out there. This is grass, gentlemen. This is grass.
Big Johnny. Mason Fletcher will punt it away. You can always tell the quarterbacks, the leaders, they always know the equipment guys because that's where you get your swag.
Full start.
Of course.
Offense. Not all 11 players were set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Hey, Tim, don't tell Big Johnny the 7 studs don't work. Right? I used to like, I'm not wearing those. They just don't work. I like, give me my plastic cleats. I'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll back up Mason Fletcher a bit more. The 6'7", 215-pound senior from Melbourne, Australia, and we got movement yet again. This might be offsides this time.
Offside. Defense number 25 entered the neutral zone, causing a reaction from the offensive player. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
A little anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, it happens. You got to be careful with Iowa State. They will come after you with punt block opportunities. They like to use all 3 phases of the game for big plays. Jalen Knoll is waiting back at his 34-yard line in single safety. Fletcher will get it off around his 15. Here he goes, and he's got plenty of room. Knoll. Fantastic return all the way to the 39. That's 42 yards on the boot. A 28-yard return. Bada bing, bada boom.
Hey, Tim, I said he was doing good, didn't I?
Yeah, he was. He's one of those do-gooders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's run that again.
I'm here on Fox. Steve Grant with those marvelous pictures, one of the fine videographers in all of sports television. And we come back to action, and there's Hansen once again wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Darian Varner, 24, coming in there to make the stop for Cincinnati. This is a team now that's seeing some younger guys getting some playing time. Simeon Coleman, 31, getting his first start as middle linebacker. He's got Dingle with him. He's in for Bartlett. Sims is also playing for Cincinnati. 2nd down and 11. Out of the shotgun, Rocco Becht. Pressure coming, dumps it off beautifully to Burkle. The big tight end, picking him up, putting him down inside the 10. 33 yards. Bartlett runs him down, the linebacker number 7.
This is a really nice job by Burkle, just getting to the flat and being open for Rocco Becht. But this play is made by Rocco Becht.
Going with tempo after the big play. Not uncommon, and we'll go back to that. Let's finish that one up, Devin.
Take a look at Rocco. Holds the ball. He draws him in, right? He's not open. Come to me, and then dump it right over the head, and it creates a huge play when they had 2 defenders for the flat route. Great poise there by Rocco Becht.
Well, 33 and 15 yards are the 2 receptions that Merkel has made. When Rocco's a gamer, there have been games where maybe he was a little too pumped up, tried to do too much. That ball's tipped into the air and could have been intercepted as well by the man that knocked it down, Josh Minkins. That's the free safety. The redshirt senior from Louisville came over with Coach Satterfield.
He does such a nice job. I mean, it's probably tipped by two guys, both 9 and 0. And one of those are freshmen in Saints. A nice job of jumping and just not close enough to get that ball for an interception. Rocco Beck got away with one there.
3rd and goal. Hansen the setback. Send him in motion. Look out on the wheel route. He's there. He's wide open. This pass is thrown into traffic, and a marker comes down in the end zone. Jordan Young with the push against Jaden Higgins. But I got to tell you, on the opposite side of the field, Hansen was all alone on a wheel route.
Yeah, and for Rocco Beck, he doesn't see him, right? So he doesn't panic. He starts to move. He starts to create no imminent danger, and then he just gets the ball to Higgins.
Pass interference, defense number 1. The foul occurred in the end zone. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
And when you have a guy like Jaden Higgins, 6'4", 215 pounds, this is what you do. You just give him a chance. It's one-on-one. It's not necessarily 50-50, right? He gets away with a little bit of a push off there, but it forces the defensive back to play pass interference.
I certainly understand why you go to Higgins. I do. Boy, was Hansen open. He remains the setback. That's the big lineman now at the tight end. They give it to Hansen. He's got it for the touchdown. Carson Hansen with a touchdown. Big number 93, James Neal, normally a guard that wore 75. They brought him in on that jumbo package, and he was coming over to make some blocks on the other end, and I think that had a lot to do with freeing up Carson Hansen. Late getting one of the players on special teams into the game for the extra point. And Rodri will try it, and now they have to give Cincinnati time to get their defender out. Fans don't like this at all.
It's a smart play. Smart play. Now, doesn't do a whole bunch, right? They're going to just lose 5 yards, so it's still a fairly easy field goal. However, right, pushes it back.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
You know, for the longest time, I always wonder if the referees are going to hold it up, why would defenders race to get off the field?
Yeah, exactly.
Take your time, right?
Yeah.
You're running, you're jogging, you're getting off the field, and force either a timeout or a penalty. Yeah. Obviously, you won't waste the timeout here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He just got it through. That almost caught upright.
It almost.
I was ready to go upright unkind, partner. I was. Carson Hansen has 9 rushing touchdowns on the year. The rest of ISU, 9 rushing touchdowns. Look at the big fella. Let's look at big number 93.
Yeah, big number 93. He used to be 75. He's James Neal. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. And I'm just telling you, Tim, if he's running at me in motion full speed, boom! I am not standing there. And he's the reason that play gets in the end zone so seamlessly. And if I'm a defender, I might move out of the way next time.
Yeah.
And if I move out of the way, he might sneak in for a touchdown pass.
Good time to play running back with your best jump cut.
Oh, yeah.
To get out of his way. Logan Wilson awaits the kick, and he'll take it from his 5. And he gets out near the 30-yard line. Tomorrow on Fox, we've got a great slate. Catch NFC North rivals going head-to-head. Jordan Love and the Packers against Caleb Williams. Uh-oh. It hasn't been going well for Caleb. A lot of talk in Chicago. What will happen for the Bears and the Packers, or the Seahawks battle the Niners? It's all coming up tomorrow on Fox. Check for the game in your area. There you see the comparison between these two, how similar they are.
Man, they're the same team offensively,
really are.
Except for that important category to the far right. +8 on turnover margin for Iowa State.
Offense, number 56, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's DeAndre Buford.
Yep.
That moved too quickly at that tackle position.
And this is not what you want, right? This offense can be explosive at times, but you don't want to play from behind the chains. That first drive was so masterful because they stayed ahead of the chains. Even on that fourth down conversion, it was 4th and inches essentially, right? So you want to stay on schedule, and right now they're off at 1st and 15.
Well, there's a reason these two teams are so strikingly similar in the way they play. Kiner, well, he's elusive. He's running a little bit like Hansen for Iowa State. He gets out to the 35. That's 9 yards, which they needed. And Ezeagu, 88. Kenya Ezeagu with the stop.
Yeah, you can see number 95, Dominique Orange. He has positioning right on the outside, but then he jumps inside trying to make the play. The one thing you can't do, especially on this defense, you have to do your job, right? You can't do others' job, because when you start to do that, you create vacancies, and when you create vacancies, Kiner will find them.
And talking with both staffs this week, they said that preparation was a little different. I think we may have an offsides potentially, or maybe a false start. Let's see.
I think the center moved first.
Yeah, Gerhardt might have moved prematurely.
False start. Offense, number 53, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah, that's Gavin Gerhardt.
Yeah, it was almost simultaneous with him about to snap the ball. It was very subtle, but take a look right there in the middle of your screen at the center position. He just flinches really quickly.
Yeah, and didn't take long for Zamir Hawk, 53.
Just a touch.
The redshirt freshman was ecstatic over it. 2nd and 10. Little screen set up to Kiner. Well defended by Iowa State. That's a well-scouted defense. Even though that screen looked like it might go for a big, big gain, they had it well diagnosed.
Yeah, Jacob Ellis does an outstanding job of exactly what you said, diagnosing the screen and beating blockers to get outside, keep that outside arm free, and make the play on the talented Kiner.
3rd down and 5.
As much as they've had those 2 penalties that have pushed them back, they're in a manageable position.
A very quickly played first quarter, the way both teams like it. Effective on the ground. On that crossing pattern for a first down out to the 44 is Joe Royer, the tight end, the transfer from Ohio State. As we get closer to the end of the first. Entertaining game, to be sure. Well, this is the 3rd drive that Kiner started, and then Hansen got his 9th rushing touchdown to eclipse just about everybody in rushing touchdowns. And here's Sorsby taking it the distance. And he slips as he began to slow down, recognizing that some people were going. I think he was trying to reverse field there, understanding that some corners had a good line of attack on him.
Who's the player in conflict? There he is right there. Number 4 in black, Jeremiah Cooper. He has to make a decision, the quarterback or the running back. He chooses in between, and Sorsby gives him a nice quick fake, and he starts to hit the gas pedal down the field.
I was concerned that he might pull a hamstring when he tried to take the motor down a notch or two. But he felt that he was in trouble and was going to get blasted from the backside. Well, first down again just outside the 15, and we've got a marker down. Looks like a false start. Well, that doubles his previous high of career-long rushes.
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players were set. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, Scott told us when we talked prior to the game that he wanted to see Sorsby use his legs a bit more in this game. Such a tremendous athlete. He had been a bruising running back in his earlier days in high school.
And that penalty here, are these 2 guys, right? You can see Zero still getting set, and then a little bit of movement there, and the ball is snapped, right? You can't have 2 guys motioning at the same time. You have to go a freeze call if you're Sorsby, tell everybody to be still, and then hike the ball.
Yeah, that was Pryor 6 that got into a slot and did not get set. And here he is carrying it now to the 17-yard line. Jontez Williams on top of him there. Sorsby actually said he forgot how to throw the ball at one point as he transitioned to wide receiver as a youngster in high school. But then in his junior year, he had an opportunity to throw it again and then broke his hand. And only got that one scholarship offer where he was a backup for a couple of seasons at Indiana before transferring over to Cincinnati. 2nd and 12. Sorsby, all kinds of time. And all kinds of green, too. Incomplete. Tony Johnson, the intended receiver. It's a little bit of a late scuffle there as someone took exception to the late hit that was taking place. Looks like it's going to be okay. No flag thrown on either
So
team.
Cincinnati on offense, when they get into that 11 personnel, one back, one tight end, they're thinking they're going to get one-on-one opportunities. They thought they would have Joe Royer, number 11, the tight end, in one-on-one opportunity. It's not there. It's zone. A nice changeup by defensive coordinator John Haycock down here tight in the red zone.
Big John Williams, 75, the left tackle, took exception to Zamir Hawk's push of Zorsby. There was really nothing wrong with that. 3rd down and 12. Quarterback draw by design. And a nice little spin move by Sorsby as he burrows down to about the 11, a gain of 6. Cooper Ebel again on the stop, the weak linebacker.
I like the call. I really do, by Scott Satterfield, the play caller and head coach, because you've had games where you've given the ball away and Brendan Sorsby's putting it in harm's way. Take the decision out of his hands, right? Allow him on a quarterback draw. Maybe you do get the 1st down, but you do secure the 3 points, and that's what he did there.
Nathan Hawks, 11 of 15 on the year. A 29-yard try here from the right hash. Right down Broadway. Get the points, right?
Yeah, I talked about Sorsby taking his cape off. Coach Satterfield said, hey, let me borrow that cape.
It meant a lot to Matt's early days as those families got together in Toledo, which of course enabled both of these men to continue on their journeys. You know, it's an incestuous vocation in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Coaches cross paths with coaches often, and their families really get to know one another as well. Boy, what a mistake this is on this kick. They're going to discuss it. The ball was going to go out of bounds. It should have been to the 35-yard line. Instead, it's fielded and touched in play.
The ruling on the field is that the ball was caught inbounds, and the receiver signaled for a fair catch.
Yes.
The ball was placed at the 25-yard line.
Right.
1st down.
Okay, good. I'm glad that was in fact the case, because the fair catch signal was given, but there was some delay in terms of the decision by the officials to tell us. Watch at the top. You'll see the arm go up.
Yeah, he didn't anticipate that the ball would go out of bounds, right? He had already signaled for the fair catch, right? And so, like you talked about, it'd be brought out to the 25.
That little delay, though, had me a bit concerned that they might place that ball back around the 5-yard line. But Jackson was wise enough to put that arm up and get the fair catch. So it's 1st down from the 25-yard line. Abu Sama is in the backfield. Play fake to him, and Beck with rollout action. It's caught. It's Higgins. It's a 1st down. Out to the 41-yard line.
A really nice route by Higgins, just getting into the soft spot, dives in vertical. We call that a circus route. Get inside and then go to the corner. A nice job snapping it off at the top and getting the necessary yardage for a 1st down.
Partner, I keep thinking at some point Abu Sama is going to be heard from. He's the setback now. 3 wides to the bottom of your screen. Oh, he got it that time, and a shoelace tackle saved him from getting to the 2nd level by Gola-Collard. Trayvon Gola-Collard, number 6, the free safety, gain of 6.
Gola-Collard is holding on for dear life. Right, that's a strong lower body running back in Abu Sama, and he is pulling and pulling and dragging him. It looked like Little Giants. Have you ever seen Little Giants?
Yeah.
Remember that holding on to his jersey, just dragging him down the field? And the backup is in the game, Connor Moberly, and this could be an opportunity for play action. They are comfortable with him running the football and throwing the football.
And Aiden Flora also back there in a wildcat look, and he takes it ahead to about the 47-yard line. Give him something to think about. Nothing doing really on that play. A lot of eye candy, but not a lot accomplished.
I'm just telling you, this number 6 in white, Gola-Collard, he is coming as quickly as he can down into the box and making these plays. Watch how he flies down to stop this play from happening. He's right there in the line of scrimmage. When you see that from safeties, that's when the play action has to come, and that ball has to go behind those safeties.
Aiden Flora is a freshman from Adel, Iowa. From the 47, 3rd down. Hanson. And that's only a yard. They're going to need 3 here with the ball at the 47. Antoine Peak, the star hybrid backer, 6'2", 208 out of Cincinnati, comes in to plug that hole.
Yeah, who else is in the hole coming to plug it? Take a look right here. Right, coming down to make this play inside the box. He is sprinting full speed to make sure that that ball cannot get past the first down marker. In the next drive for Iowa State's offense, they have to find a way to go play action. If he's running down that fast, you have to take advantage of it.
Well, Cincinnati has outgained Iowa State 163-70 here in the early going. Tyler Perkins will punt it away to the 36. Javoy Mays back deep. He'll let it go by and into the end zone for the touchback. 52 yards. Cincinnati, the only team to crack the moment. K-State's in some trouble with Arizona State. Boise State is tied up 14-all. Look at this ball control so far in our game, huh? Cincinnati, almost 5 minutes more possession in a game that's been ground controlled to Major Toms. If you don't mind my using a David Bowie lyric. And right away, the handoff goes right up the gut to Corey Kiner. And he's been the runner of quality in this game as a setback goes. Sorsby has the longest gainer of the day, pulling it down, but he picks up 4 there.
Yeah, and a lot of what Sorsby is able to do as a runner is because of the effectiveness of Kiner, right? When you have a running back that's so powerful and he breaks tackles, right, you start to commit to him, and then when you have a quarterback like Sorsby, he gets a chance to get on the edge and make some plays.
2nd down and 6. A little naked bootleg action here. Sorsby threads it. That pass could have been picked. It was tipped.
Tim, let me correct you there. Should have been picked.
Yeah, yeah. And Jontez Williams had a real shot when you think about it. I thought it had been tipped, not picked, but tipped.
Yeah.
And
it was tipped, and he's right in position, right? But the change of trajectory, he can't judge it, and you can see him put his hands on his head right away, because that is something that he makes a living doing. He makes all those plays 9 times out of 10, and that was the 10th time apparently.
Yeah, Jack Sadowski, 33, is the man that tipped it. Backup linebacker to Ebel. Sorsby in some trouble now. Remember, they want him to make sure that he maintains control. A punt is not always a bad idea. Cooper
100%.
Ebel with a stop. Just don't turn it over. That's what Satterfield is saying right now. A lot of pressure that time from Dominic Orange, 95. And he had to unload it.
That's good. That's improvement. That's exactly what Satterfield wants to see. He said sometimes the defense wins, right? You can see here, he sees the pressure. I don't like one hand on the ball, but he avoids it, no imminent danger. He doesn't force anything. He tries to go get what he can. And like you said, a punt is not a bad play. That's a win, I think, for Sorsby based off of what happened a week ago.
Problems. Boy, how did Mason Fletcher regather, keep his composure, and just get it out of there? It was high. He wound up retrieving it and getting it off, and that is a big, big win. And he needed all 6'7", 215 pounds of him to come up with that, and then hustle to get it off. Low trajectory or not, they'll take the 24-yard punt. Trust me.
Sarge. What happened there? Are you guys okay? Do I need to get in the middle?
No, we're fine.
Okay, just making sure.
We're fine, absolutely. A lot of times if you use, Sarge, not everybody may know. You got to give Mike Hill credit.
Gotcha.
Got
to get his birth name.
His
mama named Mike.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Mike.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I want to upset Mama. High end over in punt by Gilbert. And it's going to go out of bounds inside the 10. Well, we touched on Satterfield discussing this earlier in the week. Let's hear from him at his press conference.
I mean, it's Iowa State, they're slipping as well.
Well, prophetic to say the least, based on what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, can you be more blunt, though?
No. That's when you know both head coaches really have a great deal of respect for one another, right? Truth-telling is allowed when you're that tight with the opposition.
That's really good
for 3.
That's really good to see Malik Verdon there get in there, make a play down close to the line of scrimmage. That's where he's so good. But they have a player down, J.R. Singleton, number 58, a guy who they depend on in the middle of that defense.
You know, this is the 3rd Iowa State game that we've had. We were here just over 5 weeks ago for their win against Baylor. That was a historic win. They got it to 6-0, on to 7-0 with a tremendous victory where they had to use the clock late to beat an upstart UCF team. but it's already been posted in social media. If we could continue to come, they might have Iowa State taxes sent to us 100%. If we keep coming here. But they are undefeated with us.
They are.
When we've called one of their games. Singleton got hurt in that game, you might recall, early against Baylor. Orange also got hurt, Dominic Orange, and it was one of the great coaching decisions by John Hancock to start blitzing after that because he knew he needed to get some help. Baylor was up 14-3, and they mounted a tremendous comeback. Well, the good news is he's up, getting some assistance, but he's under most of his own power getting back, although in a little bit of pain. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Both teams have shown their ability to utilize their ground game first and then open it up with that intermediate passing game of theirs to be successful. But it's been Cincinnati that's controlled the football the most. Pryor, he's a home run hitter. As we mentioned, big-time, long touchdown runs. That's Will McLaughlin, the linebacker out of Defiance, Iowa, coming up to make the stop, number 23.
That's a big-time tackle by McLaughlin as well, because if he doesn't make that tackle one-on-one with Pryor in the open field, that is going to be another home run for that young man.
3rd down, a half-yard needed.
Remember, in the short yardage situation earlier in the game, 4th and 1 in their own territory, they went to Sorsby. They allowed for that +1 run where they put Kiner in front as the lead blocker and let Sorsby follow behind him. It looks like they may go through it again.
Kiner will do the honors this time and gets out to the 21 for the 1st down. The stay for Scott Satterfield was not as enjoyable as he had hoped. When Jeff Brom went over there, that's his alma mater, it enabled him to be available for this job at Cincinnati. And look, Luke Fickell did a remarkable job. Took him to the college football playoff before going to Wisconsin. But Satterfield just absolutely loves where he is. Sees this as a destination job. Look out. That was so well set up for Pryor. I mean, that was a total deep by Sorsby. He's upset with himself because it was right there. That could have been a touchdown.
The old fake quarterback power, RPO, right? You don't see this a whole bunch, but I just wonder why not. When you have a quarterback that can run, right, you're going to get Malik Verdon that comes in because he thinks his quarterback run. And then you toss that ball. You just got to it's a layup, right? Give him a nice little toss, and he knows that's one that he cannot miss because he had a touchdown out there on the field.
I don't know how many times I've heard you in year one say you can't miss the layups.
Can't miss them.
Pryor remains in the backfield. He's ahead for 2 here. Let's go down to Josh Sims.
Well, you know, Devin was talking about Sorsby having to take the cape off. I talked to him about it this week, and he really beat himself up about those 3 turnovers last week. But he said the message from the coaches got through. When there's nothing there, I need to just take a loss on the play and live to fight another down, guys.
Well, we may have had some premature movement yet again.
Yeah, the question is going to be, did the defense get into the neutral zone for the offense to move?
Hawk 53 was moving around.
Offside, defense number 11 entered the neutral zone, causing a reaction by the offensive player. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That was Tyler Onyedem, number 11, the redshirt junior.
Yeah, but that's a nice job by DeAndre Buford. Just a little bit delayed in his response, but he understands when he gets into the neutral zone, if you move, that's going to be on the defense every single time, and it sets up a much easier 3rd down.
Without question, more manageable in a game like this. Little diamond formation among those receivers, and boy, oh boy, you talk about a hot quarterback. Sorsby is very upset at that whistle.
Yeah, the right guard gives it right back. I think it looks like Kandra.
Luke Kandra is 67. There's a conversation about this one.
Yeah, and what Sorsby's trying to say is the disconcerting signals by the defense, right? They're forcing the offense off sides because of what they're doing to simulate a snap.
False start. Offense, number 67, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That old line stimming, right? That old line stimming that the defense will do from time to time.
Yeah, so I don't know what Sorsby is saying. I don't see anything on that movement from the linebacker, I think is what Sorsby's saying, but it doesn't apply to the linebackers, only that defensive line. When the defensive line stems, then you can get that penalty for the offense moving. But if a linebacker moves, there's no harm, no foul there. So Sorsby's wrong, and that's a good call by the referee.
5 times they've been called for a false start here in the first half. 3rd down and 9. Sorsby stepping up. That pass is incomplete. And again, pressure coming. Xavier Henderson, number 8, was the intended receiver, but a lot of heat coming.
Yeah, and I think they had Henderson, but he's trying to go. You can see him right there getting in front, but the referee's right there, and it stops him from getting to the ball. So, I mean, the referee's a part of the field, right? Yep. You have to know where he is, but I think they would have had a completion for a first down there. But nice job by the Iowa State defense getting off the field. With help from the referee, of course.
That was 23 Will McLaughlin that gave the heat to Sorsby. Mason Fletcher again. Got a high snap last time, and that 6'7" frame of his bailed him out. Wow, another one? This time
Delay
it's too much time, yep.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's the 8th Cincinnati penalty.
Everybody on the sideline is saying, the clock! The clock! It's at zeros! Making sure they steal some extra yardage.
Jalen Knoll awaits at his 41. He had an outstanding return moments ago. This time a fair catch. And he buffed it. Picked it back up. Cannot advance the muff. And a little momentary thought of, oh my goodness, gee, I can't advance this. He knew right away, but couldn't help himself.
Yeah, he gives the most aggressive fair catch signal I've ever seen, and I think it kind of distracted him. And this is not something you see from Jalen Knoll. He's usually super short-handed, but great job by him to get back on it. And like you talked about, you cannot advance after you've already called a fair catch.
Ball was muffed and then recovered by the receiving team. The ball is dead at that spot.
Stephen Barron, one of the really good white hats that you'll find in the college game, with the explanation to the crowd. So a great opportunity here before halftime for Rocco Becht to get this thing going after the 48-yard boot.
Yeah, and it'll be really good getting some momentum going in the half. Right now, 68 total yards in this half, only 59 yards passing and 9 total yards rushing. And you know, rushing is what they want to do. They want to establish the run game, and they just haven't been able to do it.
They have not gotten really the wide receivers, either Knoll or Higgins, involved. Look out, Aiden Flora. He's got the first down to the 49-yard line.
I see your 9, and I raise you 14 yards on that run. A very nice job by the true freshman, Flora.
Saw Knoll checking out the play on his armband. He split wide to the top of your screen. Bruce Salmon now the setback. Uh-oh. Another slip, this one by Klotz as he was making his move on that little inside curl route of his. He's down at the 46 for a gain of 5.
I mean, he slipped, but how about the hands and concentration of the big fella, the tight end, who they usually use to block? But he's outside, he slips down, and as he's falling, he keeps his eyes and hands there, and it's an all-hands catch. You usually see that from a wide receiver. Outstanding job by Klotz.
There was a slight mist for a period of time, a brief period of time before the game today, but not enough to cause that many slips. Look at this for me. Look out for a boo. He burrows ahead to the 43-yard line of Cincinnati. We got another flag down. Jake Golday, number 11, the Sam linebacker, the stop. This one's going to be against the home team.
Holding, offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot, 2nd down.
I'm thinking Corleone might have been held that time. He was emphatic in the call.
Yeah, he's going to come into the left of your screen right there, and he grabs number 7, Jared Bartlett, and just almost like slams him to the ground there. That's illegal. Yeah, 2-point takedown for sure.
Yeah, there was almost as much hugging right there on that particular hold as we had in that fight, or so-called fight they had last night.
That's a lot of hugging.
Not my $60 million payday that those two guys got.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started.
Find a way to get them involved. Fear not.
2x2 from a receiving standpoint. A little quick curl, complete to midfield to Knoll. Career game last week.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Hey, we just talked about it. Got to get him involved. Those are the guys that Rocco Beck depends on, and those are the catalysts for this offense, right? And it opens up the tight ends and the running backs in the passing game and the other wide receivers. But to open those other guys up, you have to get those guys going.
3rd down and 9. Again, they go with 5 wides and empty. Cincinnati will drop 8. Pressure, lots of it. And Rocco's got to get rid of it. That is a lot of heat for a 3-man rush, isn't it? Well done. Pressure was big time that time as Cameron Wilson, 15, was in hot pursuit. And Iowa State now 1 out of 5 on 3rd downs.
Yeah, he does a really good job of just turning speed to power. Defensive end, right here, you see he's got that long way to go. He turns speed into power and just mushes the tackle into the quarterback, and Rocco Beck can do nothing but throw it away.
Cincinnati defense has been stout. This boot is end over end by Gilbert, and it's taken by Mays. And Jamoy is out to the 20. 42-yard boot and an 11-yard return. Sorsby's gotten it done with his feet tonight, no question about that.
Yeah, he's a talented athlete. It started on that first drive, right? He puts him in position to try to go pick up the first down, and then he gets a nice fake option. Man, he looks like Vanilla Vic out there, right? You used to see Michael Vick faking the speed option and getting down the field, and there he goes again, getting outside and creating with his legs. And the one thing that we've seen tonight is he has not made the big mistake, and we talked about it in the open, and we've talked about it throughout the game. Take the cakewalk from time to time. However, keep it in your back pocket just in case you need it. He's used it when he needed it.
That's an amazing stat when you consider how Iowa State runs it. Pryor never really had a hold of that too well, but Dominic Orange had something to do with it as he was bearing down on him, big number 95. So that play was disrupted from the start. So a timeout after a loss of 7. And now time for a quick message from Hampton by Hilton.
Welcome.
Those Hampton by Hiltons, because I got to tell you, Devin, the one here in Ames, Iowa, we really enjoy it.
We do.
We do.
We do. Breakfast. 6 to 10. Love it.
Iowa State has 2 more timeouts left, plus the wind at their back. So let's see if they use them here. As Sorsby's in trouble again, courtesy Dominic Orange. Here comes that timeout.
Iowa State has called their second timeout of the half. Timer, please reset the game clock to 53 seconds. 5-3.
The one thing you've seen from Cincinnati since that first drive is the inability to stay on schedule, right? 1st and 15, 3rd and 15, long distances to go. In the second half, they've got to find a way to get those positive gains on first down, and a lot of those negative gains have just come because of penalties, right? Unforced errors where you start behind the chains, and that's something in the halftime that they're just going to have to get fixed. And they're going to have to use a lot more time here because Iowa State, obviously, they're calling those timeouts so they can get the football back.
I think that's one of the real strengths, and there are many for Matt Campbell. These are 2 outstanding young coaches. Even though they've both been at it a long time, they're still very young in this kind of position as a head coach. You know, that UCF game could have easily been lost if not for proper use of the clock and timeouts late by Matt Campbell, of course. I mean, they absolutely milked every second out of that game for Beck to lead them down for a deciding touchdown late to get to 7-0.
Remember, Sorsby's legs have been big on these types of plays.
3rd and 15. Sorsby, all kinds of time. Now he's going to tuck it and run, and he's spun down by Dominic Orange. That has been number 95's defensive series, wouldn't you say? That guy's been all over the field. And nose tackle.
Is called the third and final timeout of the half.
Tim, take a look at these guys. These guys up front, they did what I like to call a mush rush, right? Where you're not quite rushing up the field. You're kind of just sitting there waiting to see what he does, and then you attack when he commits to running. A great job because they've been burned with his legs earlier. They see the opportunity to mush rush, and they execute perfectly.
So, again, with those timeouts utilized, it enables Rocco Beck, and maybe this could be just what they need to have to go hurry up to get some mojo going in this offense that has been rendered anemic by Cincinnati's defense for the most part tonight.
Yeah, Rocco always does a nice job in these hurry-up situations, right, where he gets to see the defense line up and think about how imperative it is that they get to this. The Cincinnati defense runs a defense that he knows like the back of his hand because his own defense runs it.
Fletcher's boot. Fair catch, and it takes a horrible bounce. I mean, a horrible bounce for Fletcher, and this is ideal field position for the Cyclones.
Yeah, I mean, it's as close to perfect as you can ask for.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It's a 17-yard boot, as it turns out. I mean, you're one first down away from field goal range. And Mason has had a very good year. I guess he's allowed one or two poor punts, but that was a tough time to have it. He had averaged at least 40 yards per punt in every game this year. Coming in, he had a 62-yarder.
Got a Busama in that diamond formation out there with blockers.
Yeah, it's a cluster, really. Beck to Jalen Jackson.
Yeah, it's not a Busama. It's Jalen Jackson out there.
And Jalen knocked out right at the 38-yard line, so not much. As we said before, a lot of eye candy, not a lot of production with that particular play. Yeah, he turned 21 this past Tuesday, Rocco did. And he spent the entire day and night right here at the facility, working on his game. Goes through his progressions and fires a strike for a first down to Jaden Higgins. No timeouts left, so they hurry up to get a spike. So he clocks it with 22 left.
It's such a nice job by Rocco Beck. Watch his eyes, right? It starts front side, right? That's his first read, right? Then he gets to number 2, then number 3, and then he gets all the way back to his fourth read, which is the talented Jaden Higgins, the short-handed number 9 in black. And it's a big pickup, and they get to the ball, clock it to preserve time.
From right here, they would be 41 yards away from a field goal if they did not gain another yard. So already in field goal position. Another strike fired and then dropped. Carson Brown had it, could not hold it. He was in a lot of traffic, yes, but he should have caught that.
Yeah, and Carson Brown is a guy that Rocco Beck is really starting to trust, right? He's a guy that he can depend on. He gets open and he has the catch, but he starts to do something with it before he actually has it, and it's an incomplete pass.
He may, in defense of him, he would have been short of the first down, so the clock would have gone tick, 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 tick. So maybe giving it up actually works out for them.
That's a good call by you, partner.
The Cyclones. 3rd down and 10. Beck again towards the sidelines, right where you want it, complete to Knoll. And they get about half of the yardage necessary. Gain of 5 to the 18. Conradry in great shape for a field goal here from the right hash mark. It'll be 36 yards, which could tie this game and give them some momentum going into the break at halftime. Well, a lot of big-time scores. If you're a lot of scoreboard watching in this stadium and throughout the country on this Saturday afternoon. And a timeout taken by Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has called their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, Tim, you remember back in the day used to be those rollover minutes, right? If you don't use all your minutes on your cell phone, 1 month, they roll over to the next month. Well, the timeouts don't work like that, right?
No.
So why not just ice them, see what happens?
Why not? Yeah, you know, when you've got 2 young ladies in your family, growing up in the cell phone
you didn't
generation.
have any rollover minutes.
No, we had the max. We were on max right from the start.
Of course.
The hell with the rollover minutes.
Oh,
I was
no.
going to pay one flat rate.
There you go.
Yeah. Because, first of all, you can't keep your daughters off the phone with their moms.
They got to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
They're probably talking about you, honestly.
it's a Terry, Tiffany, Tara party line.
Yeah, of course.
With maximum minutes, and Daddy pays. Big Daddy B pays. All right, 10 out of 10 from under 40 yards for Kyle Conrodry. Right through. And that will tie it at 10. That's just great management of the clock and use of timeouts by Iowa State. Saturday spread sponsored by Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. May your game day be delicious. This is all Big 12, okay? Arizona last night got the job done, 27-3. Petros Papadakis was all over that one. I saw it. And Baylor took care of West Virginia. How about Dave Aranda's club since that loss they had here?
How about
a few weeks back?
How about that?
And talk about the great disruptors. Color them Jayhawk blue. They're playing BYU tonight. And then you look at Arizona State. Scatta boo, scatta has. Will scatta done? We'll find out in the moments that are ahead as Kansas State tries to get it done in mini Manhattan.
Yes, indeed.
James Scattaboo is one whale of a talent. Arizona State's going to be heard from next year, I can tell you that. Big 12 better be ready for them. So time for a play, and that'll be it for the first half. Now think about all those scores tonight. There will be a lot of late night Big 12 sports watching.
Yeah.
Well into the evening after dark.
I mean, honestly, though, they shouldn't leave here. I mean, you and me are here.
Of course not.
Seems like they should just keep it here.
Yeah.
And I guess you can just look on your phone for the other games, right?
Absolutely. A few libations. And it's moving quickly, partner, so, you know, we should be in good shape. We are at halftime, 10-10. By the way,
It's very important here in the second half. And for Iowa State, who's about to get the ball, they've got to get their stars involved, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel.
Here's Jalen Jackson with the return of the opening kick here in the half. And he's pushed back at about the 23, maybe the 24-yard line. And that's where they'll take over. Josh Sims is downstairs.
That's right, and I caught up with Matt Campbell at the half, and he told me, look, I love the way we answer the call so far in this half. We got to get things going in the second half, finding different ways to get Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel the ball. On an injury note, J.R. Singleton will not return to the game. A left arm injury. He's in street clothes on the sideline, so a huge blow for their defense, guys.
Yeah, we see him there, and what they've done, whenever they've lost some of those D linemen, whether it was Orange or Singleton or Onyedem, whenever that's happened, John Haycock, their outstanding defensive coordinator, has gone to, you know, mixed delayed blitzes to help get a pass rush going. That pass incomplete. That was he went one way, the ball went the other circumstance with Jalen Jackson, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Jalen Jackson, not a huge target, 5'7", 180. And for Rocco Beck, he just misses that throw, right? He just throws it a little bit too high on the shallow cross. And if he completes that, I think that Jackson will have some room and some space to maneuver.
We'll see if that quick drive after the judicious exercise and timeout usage by Matt Campbell gets this team going here in the second half, gets some momentum going. Abu Sama, who they really felt coming into tonight's game could have a breakout. Jack Dingle, the Will linebacker, comes over to pop him. But a healthy gain on 2nd down.
I don't know, Tim. I think Jack Dingle took the brunt of that. I mean, he came over and he had no idea that Abu Sama was in the backfield because he takes the brunt of that hit and it goes boom! Just off of his feet. Powerful young man, Abu Sama is.
3rd down and 3. He gets those short, choppy steps going. I'm telling you, when you see him at practice, and just shells and shorts. It's like those legs are like pistons. Now he's blocking, chipping, trying to help Beck. He runs out of terrain, but a marker down. I think we're going to have interference as coverage was a little too intense that time. Our referee, Stephen Barron's been pretty busy tonight.
Holding, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I'd say that constitutes a little too intense.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that ties a season high for penalties against Cincinnati. 9 of them tonight.
Yeah, they've been pretty disciplined throughout the season, but you can see just never lets the wide receiver go, Jaden Higgins, and he can't go out to get open to make that catch.
Hansen checks back into the game. 9 penalties, but only 47 yards, so they've not really given up a lot of yardage, but boy, a lot of stoppages in play, and the little yellow hanky has nailed them on 9 different occasions. Quick curl caught by Knoll, and not a lot. He gets 4 on the play.
I love what this offense does with these wide receivers, specifically Jalen Knoll and Jaden Higgins. He gives them options, right? So this route has options. You can go vertical or you can settle down in the hole. He does a nice job of reading the coverage, seeing the retreat, and he sits down nice and easy for Rocco Beck to get an easy completion on first down.
Pre-snap motion as Knoll moves from the right side to the left into the slot. Well, Beck was trying to set a block, and that was again so well defended by this Cincinnati team. Nothing doing for Flora. No gain after a lot of movement without much production. Stop him at the 45-yard line. It remains 6 yards to go at third down.
But, Tim, that's an outstanding job by Flora to minimize the damage, right?
Yep.
That's supposed to be a 3-yard loss, and he finds a way to cut it back and create a bit of a positive gain on the play.
Well, Cincinnati's been getting off the field on third down. They've stopped them 5 out of 6 times. Iowa State's really only had the one drive, and it was keyed by a big play. Other than that, they've been shut down.
They got zone coverage, and the receivers have to find the open cavities.
Beck, and he goes right into that open cavity, which is found at the seam, and that is Brett Eskinson, number 81, the freshman from Frisco, Texas.
Yeah, such a nice job. Watch how controlled he is as he comes under Knoll and just gets in that open space. You know it's zone coverage because you line your running back out to the outside. They leave a corner out there, and a nice job of Rocco Beck just finding that open space and giving him a nice catch in front of the first down marker.
Eskinson out of that hotbed in Texas, Centennial High School, getting some playing time. That's his first catch of the year, but we thought he would be involved in tonight's game plan. Hansen knocked down right at the point of attack by Cameron Wilson, number 15. Get into this time of the year, you're going to have guys, redshirt freshmen and true freshmen, getting playing time, particularly after you've been banged up.
Take a look. Just comes underneath to make this play, beats the tight end across his face, and makes it on the other side of the football. That's a really good play by the talented number 15 in white, Cameron Wilson. 8
tackles in his first 4 games, was shut down for a number of games, but returning strong tonight. Quick out pattern, it's complete to Jaden Higgins. But again, a negligible gain, but they do pick up 3 on the play. And you got another situation of third down and long. They faced a lot of this tonight. Cincinnati has not given up much yardage on first and second down, and that's exactly what Tyson Veit, who knows so much about this Iowa State team, understandably so with the time he spent with Matt Campbell.
Yeah, he knows that Rocco Beck loves to get to those quick throws, so he's starting to take them away on early downs, and then Rocco Beck has to get through his reads here on third down.
This one down the seam again. It's Higgins again. And it's a first down. That is the first really big conversion with a vertical route we've seen tonight.
One of my favorite concepts. You send Knoll down the seam, and then you bring a dig underneath. We call that dagger. A dagger concept. A very nice job of Knoll and Higgins working together to make sure they convert on that third down.
And that was a highly accurate throw by Beck.
Oh, my goodness, was it?
Oh, beautiful play concept. It's Klotz. It's touchdown. That is the first touchdown catch of the year for an oftentimes used tight end, Steve-O Klotz.
Yeah, we've seen Klotz fall down here or there, a little slippage, but they do a really nice job there of hiding him and kind of stealing a page out of Cincinnati's book for that touchdown.
Now that was a beautifully conceived play that was well set up. What's that old saying? You set up touchdowns like that with the plays that precede them.
Yeah, they call it the play off the play.
Yeah. When you have that much intellectual property against you, you got to come up with something different. Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more. And a little bit more in this sequence from the Iowa State Cyclones. As Rocco Beck gets that touchdown, it was a thing of beauty to Steve-O Klotz, who coming into this game had 3 catches total. 3 catches. Tonight he's got 3 for 32 yards, including a touchdown.
And we've seen him slip a few times. He didn't slip right there.
Sure didn't. Logan Wilson is back in single safety, number 13 in white, awaiting this kickoff. Think about what Iowa State did in that end of the first half and now to start the second. Let's go back to that touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, they did a nice job. They set up run. Everything is showing run. You get offensive linemen pulling around. You get Rocco Beck chasing, and he tucks that ball underneath his stomach. Now, you got Klotz, and you've got Josh Minkins, number 0. Number 0 is the guy, he's the safety. He's going to fly down, and once he flies down, Klotz is wide open on the corner route right behind him. We saw Sorsby have the opportunity to hit a play like this, right on the quarterback fake run, and he misses it. Well, the other quarterback on the other side, Rocco Beck, he hits it for a touchdown.
Nice play fake from Sorsby, and he throws it to a safety valve, Tony Johnson, who was coming around with a little reverse look before taking that on the check down, gets it out to the 30-yard line. Well, before that play, both teams had 180 total yards. Iowa State has the most of their yards coming through the air at 148. Cincinnati mostly on the ground with 132.
Take a look here. You go with the fake, and he's got Henderson for a touchdown. He came off of it a little too fast. Now, we've talked about him taking the cape off. That's an instance. You want him to put that cape on and throw a big touchdown to respond to Rocco Beck.
Second down and 5. Lee Johnson in motion up to the top of your screen. Kiner. I like the way this young man runs. Senior from Cincinnati. Tough young man. And they are missing that kind of running at LSU, the place he vacated to come to Cincinnati as a transfer. Cincinnati looking for a return to sender drive after Iowa State shoved it right down their throat on their opening drive of the second half. Option towards the boundary, and Kiner cuts it back up. Takes it inside the 45 to the, well, they mark it right there, a 12-yard gain. Let's go down to Josh.
Well, Scott Satterfield told me the highlight for Cincinnati in the first half was the way the defense played, limiting the big plays of Iowa State. He said the low point, that was the penalties, something we have to clean up. Those are drive killers. So he harped on that with his team during the break.
Kiner with 25 yards, Josh, the last 2 plays. Like I said, I love the way this young man is running the football. And that pass is thrown a little low by Sorsby, intended for Xavier Henderson.
This is another one of those layups, right? He does a nice job of recognition. He sees the blitzer coming, and he replaces him with the throw, but he just isn't able to get it to his receiver. All right, you got blitzer coming. He's wide open. You got to get it to him, something easy to catch. And if you're Henderson, I guess you can be a little more friendly, right? You can stay there just a little bit more and allow the ball to get to you.
Sorsby's going to get it done with his legs again. As a first down inside the 35 to the 34 of the Cyclones. I'll say this. If he makes a mistake throwing the ball, he trusts himself in pulling that baby down. And that's exactly what Scott Satterfield wants to see more of. And we've got an injured Cyclone. That's Zamir Hawk, 53, It's down on the field, the red shirt.
One of his backups.
No question. Boy, what a defensive play there. Warrior, that looked to be set up beautifully for a little tight end screen, but then great penetration. Ellis, 44, just absolutely all over that from the jump.
We've called his name quite frequently tonight, and that's an example of why. I mean, just sacrificing, making the play. Watch him. He's out there. That's 2-on-1. He finds a way from the ground to get the man on the ground. Outstanding job with a little gator roll.
Yeah, he blew up John Williams there, and Williams helped bring him down. Friendly fire was aided on that play by Ellis. And here's Johnson, Tony Johnson. Again, a quality recovery by the Bearcats. I tell you, I like this team. You can tell that they are better than their 5-4 record. That's a gain of 15.
And when you watch the wide receivers block for each other, you can see that, right? You can see they're well coached. They do a very nice job. As soon as that ball is called, the receivers know, hey, I have to help my buddy, and it allows for him to get extra yardage and pick up the first down.
Yet another program in the Big 12 that's ascending as a culture program in a short time with Scott Satterfield. How about that spin, baby, spin? Sorsby. That ball's on the ground. Iowa State says they've got it. And they do. Boy, just after he hit, on his way down, after a tremendous spin, he lost possession. And that just sort of sums up what's happened to Brendan Sorsby all season long. A flag is down, by the way, at the 12-yard line.
That is tough for
is.
Sorsby. I mean, just trying to make a play. He's got fairly good ball security. And look at that punch from
Verdon.
Malik Verdon with the opposite hand, right? He's got a cast on one. He takes that Peanut Tillman punch and gets the ball out. He knows Sorsby is a guy that's put the ball on the ground before. He attacks the football and gets it back for his team.
Number 11, Tyler Onyedem on top of it for the recovery.
Wow.
And by the way,
he's played such clean football. That is
tough break.
Rough for Sorsby.
It is.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. After the play, personal foul, face mask, Cincinnati.
Oh, boy.
That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the dead ball spot. First down.
Oh, man. Talk about a double whammy. He did not give us a number on the personal foul. We'll have to keep watching to see who committed that penalty, but that is a double whammy. You turn it over, but in the red zone, and then you add 15 for the personal foul. And Satterfield, I'm sure, asking the same thing. You didn't give us a number. Who is it? Look at the top of your screen here. All right there. That's actually, they saw the second part, not the first.
Yeah, it's always the second guy that gets
Yeah,
called.
the second guy was the guy that got hammered on that. Sorsby had 192 rushing yards coming into this game. He's got 95 tonight. And there's Noel again on the receiving end. And you talk about a turning point to the game. I mean, Devin, they're going in to tie the game. And now Iowa State with the ball and momentum and a chance to go up by 2 scores.
And every time we've had Iowa State, this seems like what it is, right?
Yeah.
They get down maybe a little bit, but they always stay the course. They're like a well-oiled train, just chugging along and doing things the right way, and then they get their spark.
Yeah, and Verdon's Peanut Tillman act got it done. Higgins on the receiving end. By the way, Tillman, of course, got coined with that punch-out maneuver of his when he was with the Chicago Bears and made it all the way to the Super Bowl in 06, you might recall. But
yeah, he's the first guy that was like
illegal formation, offense, more than 4 players in the offensive backfield, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And let me say that he played his collegiate ball at Louisiana Lafayette. He was a raging Cajun and went into my Hall of Fame class in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame in 2021.
Are you sneaking in that you're in the Louisiana Hall of Fame?
I'm in the same class with Peanut.
There you go.
I am.
So you mean to tell me
I am.
I'm getting the chance to work with a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I guess kind of, sort of.
In Louisiana.
In Louisiana. From the 36, 1st and 15. Sama bottled up at the point of attack. These teams are just really tough when they need to be on the defensive end. That was Jonathan Thompson, 22, that made the stop. Talk about leaving a legacy, though, in football, whether it's a pro or at the collegiate level. Peanut Tillman did that for sure in his time. Lost a half yard on that play. Sama remains the setback. Out pattern caught by Burkle. We're going to talk about the. We got an injured Bearcat down on the field. Oh, that's the Godfather. Yeah, Dante Corleone, the real leader of that defensive front. Hope he's okay. It's a special young man that means a lot to Tyson Vite's defense. We'll be back.
Store closes in 5. We just need to grab a few more gifts.
Off the field, here he is right here, and it's just a mistaken knee to the thigh right there from big number 72, Jalen Travis. Getting a little help off the field, but he's walking underneath his own power, so that's good.
It is indeed. Carson Hansen is checked back into the game. That pass is incomplete. And a flag comes down late. So we'll check on that.
It's going to be offensive pass interference on Jalen Noel. And obviously he's not the one the ball's being thrown to, but you're not allowed to push off the way that he did. Defender goes flying, and they're going to give it to him. He's telling them to get in the weight room. I bench press. I lift.
Oh, you love those guys that spend a lot of time in the weight room, don't you?
Yeah, you got to get in there. Stay strong.
Pass interference, offense, number 13. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
He had a little too much power. It was declined, but all that weight room work got him noticed here.
Yeah, he goes, boom, get off me. I mean, I'm just telling you, when we talked to the strength staff, they said pound for pound, this may be one of the strongest people on the team.
No doubt about it.
He's built low to the earth like a running back, and he's just telling them, you need to get in the weight room. That is not a penalty on me.
Tyler Perkins will boot it away with Jamoy Mays back deep. Well, that's a big stop. Oh, look at this. It's a fake. And that is number 49, Steve-O, with a big one. Klotz has become a real problem for Cincinnati. Take a look at this from above. You got to hand it to Matt Campbell. He has a lot in his hip pocket.
There he is right there. Watch him. Watch him get the ball and just go on the outside zone, and there's nobody there. They're anticipating this ball is going to be punted away, not thinking that Matt Campbell will have the guts to call a fake. And look at him. He's like, yeah, I called that. You know, it's just me. I do what I can.
Look at that wry smile.
Yeah, come on.
Look at that wry smile. Coaches have their moments when they say, yeah, you know, I got that one, didn't I? I did. And we've got a pre-snap flag coming down.
They got to stay level-headed. They got to stay level-headed.
Game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Not going to be happy about that. He loves that they got the 1st down, but, hey, we knew we were going to get it. Let's make sure that we get our offense on the field.
Right, and you've got to be cool when you do it to an opposing coach that you have a great relationship with. Of course. So he's got to be cool with it.
Of course.
But I guarantee at some point after the game, Satterfield and he will talk. And they'll go, yeah, I kind of got you there, didn't I?
Yep.
Sometimes the coaches like being the faster gun. Abu Sama bottled up yet again at the 41-yard line. Every time he comes on the field, Cincinnati knows he's a big-time threat. You better get him at the point of attack, because if he gets to the second level, it is see you later.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to have that opportunity to get to the second level, right? But he's improved so much, and his vision is improving, and he's becoming a better back. And you know, he was recruited as a defensive back, right? So he's still learning.
Came up as a cornerback. All Sorsby can do over there, you saw him a moment ago, is watch from the sidelines. He was hoping to get back out there after the turnover. Gabe Burkle, they're using the tight ends, whether it's Klotz or Burkle, to their benefit. That's a 6-yard gain. And still 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 right here.
Iowa State has had great success getting into those cavities up the seam, right? Whether it's with vertical players or with dig routes, and they have that bunch formation at the top of your screen right here to run that dagger that we talked about earlier.
Rocco looking that way, going through his progressions the other way and dumps it off to Abu, but that's going to be incomplete. Samo was waiting, but pass was not there, so now it's 4th down yet again.
That's such a good job on defense by Cincinnati. They thought that they would flip the formation and run that same play that they hit earlier to Jaden Higgins on the deep dig route. They're in position. The linebackers get their depth, and there's nowhere to go with the football. Rocco Beck has to keep it, get outside, and throw the ball away.
This is going to be a 52-yard attempt. His longest is 54 against Iowa to win the game. So he's 2 yards shy of what would be his longest. Here it is. Big time. Kyle Conradry. And the redshirt freshman from Dubuque held Iowa State to 3 after they went to their bag of tricks and went with a fake punt, and still could only come away with a 52-yard boot. But check out what we got time today. We got time today with Deion Sanders is streaming for free on Tubi starting November the 19th. Tell you, that guy is a walking reality show, isn't he? I mean, he's coaching them up. May have a historic season in Denver.
How does he have time?
It's amazing. Yeah.
I think he gets more than 24 hours. All the rest of us, normal humans, get 24. I think he gets a couple more.
I'm with you. And he's trying to play games with us by growing that, facial hair.
I like it. I think it's cool.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going for Ebony Santa, but I've known Deion for a long time, okay? I think he's trying to look like an old man with wisdom when we know better than that. Kiner bouncing it outside and gets to the second level in a hurry. And he's beyond the 40 to the 42-yard line. Boy, this kid has been special.
Yeah, and he's special, but take a look at big number 56 coming around to kick out to clear this thing out for him at the right tackle position. DeAndre Buford just kicks out the linebacker, and now he has space to start to maneuver and do all those things that he does so well.
Ten-point lead with 2:29 and counting. Sorsby directing traffic, decides to tuck it and run. Gets beyond the 40 to about the 43-yard line. McLaughlin runs him out. He pops right back up.
Really nice coverage in the back end by this Cyclone secondary, just matching every other person on the offense. And when they see the quarterback running, I talk about it all the time, you have to do a thing called plaster, and they did a nice job there while also getting to Sorsby to make it a minimal gain.
Now, this young man, Sorsby, has played really well. Haycock told us, the defensive coordinator, that he would be a hard guy to corral, and he was prophetic in that statement. Kiner again. Look at him just bouncing off guys. He got ahead to the 49-yard line for a gain of 6 right there.
Yeah, that's Kiner on the counter, and it shouldn't have been a gain of 6. It shouldn't have been a gain of anything, but his power and his elusiveness allows him to just burst through tacklers and make that a positive gain.
I mean, number 21 in white has just been outstanding. 87 yards now and counting as he's on his way to 100 on 13 carries.
And on 3rd and 3, he goes to the sideline, but they're bringing in number 6, Evan Pryor, super dynamic in the backfield as a pass catcher and a runner. Speed option is something they've leaned on.
Quarterback counter well read by the Cyclones. Joey Peterson all over him. Senior from Long Grove, Iowa, loss of a yard. And 4th and 4, looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, Peterson's on the backside here, but you also have 44 coming in to make sure he has to stop the quarterback, and now the backside pursuit can get to him. A very nice job by both Jacob Ellis as well as his running mate.
4th down and 4. They've converted a 4th down already tonight. It led to their first touchdown by Sorsby. 9 of 13 on the season on 4th downs. And they'll get a flag down this time. That may force him to punt. A false start. Looked like 75. Williams.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Now they'll have opportunity. Fair catch is called by Jalen Knoll off the foot of Fletcher. 36-yard boot. Pacific Life Game Summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. Evan Pryor got things started lightning quick in the first half, but Carson Hansen staved off a hamstring to play tonight, and Klotz has been a go-to guy along with Gabe Burkle at tight end. Rocco gets a touchdown of 50 yards. And then, of course, the field goal after a turnover by Sorsby when Cincinnati had the ball down inside the 20 in the red zone. That turned out to be a potential 10-point swing. And as we start the 4th, here goes Carson Hansen again. He's up to the 24 for a gain of 3.
And this is when Iowa State starts to lean on you, right? They get a 2-score lead, and they start to just churn yardage out and play really pedestrian, not really go too fast, use the clock, and give Rocco Beck those opportunities to use his legs down the field and to make sure he can have those easy completions. And if you're Cincinnati, you have to make sure, get down in the box and try to help him make sure that you take away some of those easy runs.
Well, as Rocco told us when we were at practice yesterday, this is the ultimate take what's given kind of game as a quarterback. This pass is caught, and that is a laser that Gabe Burkle brought in, the big tight end, who along with Klotz, I think, have been the major factors in this game. Not Higgins, not Knoll, these big tight ends.
And he's not really open, but he's going up against a true freshman in Sanks, and he can't get around the big fella. At the size of Burkle, 6'6", 260 pounds, for the defender, you have to go through him. He can't get through him, and that's a great combat hands catch by the tight end.
First down 10 from the 37. Oh. Ball's on the ground, fumbled, and I believe that was Hansen that lost it. He was hammered right there. And they're going to say the flag is down too. We got a flag down at the 47-yard line.
And it's Sanks. Right?
Yeah.
The true freshman that just got the ball caught on him comes down and makes a nice play and jars that ball loose.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
Yeah.
There is no flag on the play. First down, Cincinnati.
Minkins with the recovery, Sanks with the big hit. Josh Minkins, number 0, the safety, free safety, comes up with the recovery. Watch this hit by Jaquan Sanks.
The low man wins. The true freshman gives up a completion, and then he gets the ball back for his team. Outstanding job for the true freshman, Jaquan Sanks, out of Columbus, Georgia.
And that's a sure-handed running back, Carson Hansen, that gave up the ball. He very rarely puts it on the ground. Well, turn the tables now. Iowa State giving up a short field to Cincinnati. They spot the ball now at the 40-yard line. Kiner is the setback. And look at that step up from the defensive side. 53. Zamir Hawk's been all over the place, and so has Jack Sadowski, 33.
Jack Sadowski, the 5th to be exact. He comes up and makes a great play, gets through the line of scrimmage, and snatches Kiner to the ground.
Really impressed with how Hawk has plugged up that middle. He's slight of size. He's only 305. Dominic Orange is 325. But man, oh man, the depth of linebacker has come into play, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Kiner again. Nothing could be finer than having a Kiner inside the 10 to about the 9, and we've got a marker down back near the line of scrimmage.
I think it's going to be a holding.
Yeah, could bring this one back.
Jack Sadowski, the 5th, is running and trying to make sure he makes the tackle, and I think he's being held.
Boy, what a brilliant run, though, by Corey Kiner.
Holding, offense, number 44, 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot. second down.
That's the backup tight end, Francis Sherman, senior from Bay Village, Ohio.
Correction, the penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul.
Oh, yes, it is. He has Ebo. He starts to kick him out, and then he grabs hold when Ebo tries to disengage. You're going to see it on the left-hand side of your screen right here. He's blocking, and then when Ebo tries to disengage, he grabs a hold, and that's why Kiner is able to get that big run. A very nice job by the referees. That flag was thrown from the back judge in the middle of the field.
And he didn't need it, really.
Yeah.
Didn't need it. If he had just disengaged, Kiner would have been in great shape. Evan Pryor checks back in, now cuts it back up. I love the way he explodes after putting that foot in the ground, that left foot in the ground, and then he just has another gear. He gets 7 yards there.
I mean, he's not allowing the defenders to take their shot at him. He's taking his shot, right? He's delivering the blow on a lot of these contact situations.
This is old-style, big-time power football we're watching tonight.
Well, it's going to have to be the new school right now, right?
Yeah.
It's a long distance here, 3rd and long. They're going to have to find a way for Sorsby to get the ball driven down the field. And remember, they could treat this like 4-down territory if they want to.
Without a doubt. Especially with the clock where it is against a team that can control the ball like Iowa State. Sorsby! One more time! Hello, how do you do?
It's a perfect call. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, and this guy is leaving, this guy's out. That's not enough guys. You got 6 guys in the box for Cincinnati. It's a perfect call by offensive coordinator Brad Glenn in cahoots with Scott Satterfield, the play caller. Quarterback draw for a touchdown. Outstanding run by Sorsby. And Cincinnati's not going anywhere.
Brad Glenn came over from App State with Satterfield. Those O-line guys and the play callers have to be in perfect sync. Well, he came into the game with 192 rushing yards. Did Brendan Sorsby. He's got the Lido shuffle going, Boz. 136 tonight. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Do those numbers not say Vanilla Vic?
Did you think about that like for a week?
I've heard it before.
Jalen Jackson from a yard deep. And he's run down from behind up to the 32-yard line. Matchup we've all been only on Fox.
And Tim, I'm just telling you, Indiana's coming off a bye week. Ohio State better watch out.
Yeah, they better. And by the way, as I mentioned, he's just gotten a nice extension, doubling his payout from I think it's like $4.5 million per to about $9 million per. They knew he was going to get offered gigs very quickly. So applause for the administration at Indiana.
He's in that Brando territory now.
Yeah, Jordan Young comes up to make the play defensively on Beck. No gain, so it's 2nd and 10. This is an important moment now in this game for Iowa State because Cincinnati has just thrown them, as they say, a real grenade to say you're going to have to score more than 20 to win this one tonight. See how aggressive Taylor Mouser and head coach Matt Campbell are in this offensive sequence. 2nd and 10. Late blitz. Pass is incomplete. That was a delayed blitz. A beautiful move by Tyson Veit, the defensive coordinator. Pass was thrown errantly in the direction of Gabe Burkle, the tight end. Jonathan Thompson broke it up.
Yeah, Jonathan Thompson does a very good job. He's the hole player, right? So he just waits here, and then he breaks on the football once he sees it thrown, right? He watches the eyes, eyes coverage, and then he breaks on the football as it's thrown, and Rocco Beck got away with one there.
3rd down and 10. Cincinnati's defense has Iowa State right where they want them. And they've been rendered really a passing team now because they just have not been able to get it done on the ground. That one is caught by Higgins, and he's a yard shy of a 1st down. Out to the 41. They pick up 9.
Well, the reason for their inability to run the football, Tim, is because Cincinnati, for the longest time, they were inserting their safety so quickly, right? We highlighted it early in the game, but now you see they're loosening up, and so you can run the ball here. And this 4th down, I think you absolutely need to go for this. And they're going to do that. You've got to be able to get 1 yard if this is the team that you want to be. Yeah, his knee goes down. I think that's a really good spot by the referees.
Remember, Corleone is out of there. Questionable return for the rest of this game. It's Becht, and he's got it. Move the chains to the 43. Well, Iowa State is 2 for 2 tonight. And now 10 for 14 on the season on 4th down conversions. This is one of those, let's hand it off, let's huddle, take our time, and control the clock and the ground play. But the problem has been they've not been able to really garner much rushing yardage at all. They've had to do it through the air to their tight ends and occasional short passes to Knoll and Higgins. And again, Sama is just bottled up. There's just not much room for him. Picks up 2 there. It's 2nd down and 8.
So Cincinnati went away from firing those safeties extremely quickly. Well, they go back to it there to make sure on 1st down you can't gain yardage. A very nice job of just coming down and being in the way from the safety position.
The familiarity here in the chess match between defensive coordinator Tyson Veit and what Matt Campbell and Mouse are trying to do is pretty incredible. Again, playing without Corleone. Inside for Cincinnati. That pass is caught by Knoll. Jalen's out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Really nice job by Rocco Becht, because if he waits 1 second, he will not get that ball off. He gets it out quickly off 2 steps off of the play action, and it's a 1st down for Jalen Knoll.
Gain of 10. And now into Cincinnati territory. And the clock shows 8:37 and counting. Talk about that old term, right? Familiarity breeds contempt. We've got that in this game. It's turned into a chess match between coaching staffs that know pretty much everything about one another. Sama. Abu trying to get going. Gets it to the 44. And let's go down to Josh Sims. He's got word on Corleone.
But yeah, just an update on Corleone. He was trying to give it a go on the sideline, rode the bike for a little while, then tried to get in the stance. And as you see, walking back to the locker room, to the team without the Godfather right now, guys.
Yeah, you know, this is a young man that's gone through so much. He missed much of the summer, in fact, all of it, being treated for blood clots in his lung. Got his way back onto the field and has just been dynamite in being a run stopper and plugger in that 3-man front of Tyson Veit's. 2nd down and long. Pass incomplete. Thrown a bit behind Klotz. Boy, he's had his fair share of big plays tonight, as has Gabe Burkhold, the 2 tight ends.
Yeah, he's been really short-handed, and that time you can see Rocco Becht tapping his chest. He could have given him something a little easier to deal with. Low and outside for a bigger guy is difficult to make the catch.
Again, they're staring at another 3rd and long. I mean, this is a team that's built for 3rd, 3, 3rd and 2, not 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 11. And they've had a lot of those.
Yeah, but they've got number 9, Higgins, in the inside, and it creates mismatches on the safeties.
Becht over the middle on a crossing pattern. It's caught. It's Eskinson, and he's got the 1st down. Brett Eskinson, seldom used until tonight. Freshman from Frisco, Texas. 11 yards and a 1st down. Talk about a highlight, huh? 3 receptions now, 17 yards for him.
It's a really nice design, right? You're going to get Higgins here, and it's going to take the defender out, and it allows for the receiver to come on the shallow cross and just replace. A nice job of Becht recognizing, seeing what's happening, replacing it, and then knifing the defense for Brett.
Connor Moberly checks in. Running quarterback. Jalen Jackson is in the backfield with him, number 12. And here we go. It's an option pass. Knoll is going to let it fly in the end zone. Incomplete. No flags. Eskinson was the intended receiver. That was a wonderful throw by Knoll. We've seen him do that before.
And I like the no flag, right?
Yep.
Both those guys come together. There's no really impediment. Nobody's moving the other player. But like you said, what a nice throw by Knoll. I mean, they said he can do everything, right? He's got great technique. You know, I'm a stickler for quarterback technique. He does a really nice job there. And you can see there's no reason to call pass interference on either side there.
Yeah, Armani Arnold, number 8, was the corner that was there, and he did a nice job.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10. Rocco back in, takes a high snap, takes off. I think he ran right into his own guy that stymied his forward motion there.
Yeah, he had a little
He
more
really
out
did.
there.
Yeah.
But he ran into his
Barrett.
offensive guard,
He ran
Dylan
into
Barrett,
Barrett,
number
yeah.
61, who's back in the lineup after ankle surgery, and he's moving his guy, but Beck just doesn't have the patience, and he runs right into that big wall of a man that is Dylan Barrett.
Well, in defense of Barrett, he was trying to block Bartlett.
Oh, he's
That's
just
no
doing
easy
his job.
chore. Yeah,
He's doing his job.
he's going mano a mano against a great linebacker there. 3rd and long again, 3rd and 7. 4 wide receiver set. Again, right to the seam. Higgins stumbles. Turf Monster right at the line to make. Very fortunate that he ran the route to the exact spot to the line to make. Otherwise, they would have been facing a 4th and short.
Yeah, and the turf happens again, right? He starts to slip, and that's why it made it so close. But a nice job of Higgins understanding spatial awareness, getting into the open space in the zone where he can catch, knife the defense, and pick up the first down.
This is a made-to-order drive right now for the home team. 13th play of the drive. They've converted more 3rd and longs in this sequence than they have most of this season. Sama is in the backfield. Wide receiver screen to Jalen Knoll. And that's a good tackle in space. And a little extracurricular going on with Amani Arnold as well. Got a little physical over there, and you see some veterans go over to get Arnold and take him away in a hurry. Very wise move to do that. You don't want a flag in this situation.
Yeah, it's already been a long drive. You don't want to give free yardage.
Little woofing going on right there.
Yeah, just some healthy competition, looks like to me. A little healthy competition. And, you know, no, it's so funny that he's doing the too small sign, right? 5'11", 200, but he's stocky, right? He's built like a running back.
Sama bumped out of bounds at the 15 by Jordan Young. This is now an 8+ minute drive. This is textbook Iowa State offense right here.
Absolutely, it's exactly what they wanted. This drive started with 8+ minutes to go, and it's down under 4:30.
Yeah, it started with over 13 minutes left in the 4th quarter. I mean, think about that. This thing, by the time it ends, could be a 10+ minute drive. Eat up the entire 4th quarter. Right now, Cincinnati would just be happy to hold them to 3. And a timeout taken by Iowa State. And in the immortal words,
Iowa State has called it.
high snap. Back! What an unbelievable ad-lib! Bingo! Bango! Bongo! Becto!
It's almost like on a kickoff. When you have a bobbled reception, the defense just doesn't know what to do, right? So they all run right past Rocco Beck, and he puts on the Jets all the way to the end zone.
That was sort of a see ya and I'll raise ya, Sornsby, right? I'm going to do what I can do. And Rocco can pick him up and put him down himself. That was just and he had no doubt about it, did he?
It's a little bit of
3rd and 8 or longer to keep that drive alive. And a 4th down conversion to go with it. And now the lead is back to 10. And Sorsby, it's your turn now.
Yeah, absolutely, and down 10, even though he's run the ball extremely well tonight, you're going to need to throw the ball. And right now, only 66 yards passing. Last week, he had 279 yards passing against West Virginia. So he's going to have to do it with his arm a lot more, down 2 scores with not a bunch of time left.
And how about the job that this secondary and linebacking core, bruised, battered, and beleaguered, some of them playing, you know, hurt.
Yeah.
And managing to get out there like Verdon. What a hit that was. What a stick on Evan Pryor after that pass was going. Jeremiah Cooper's another one.
Yeah.
That was a question mark coming in. A pickup of only 1, and that was a lot of leather connecting right there. 2nd and 9.
I don't know, Tim. I think the helmets aren't leather anymore. That was back in your day, Tim.
If you do that, we might have an officials review. On 2nd and 9, Sorsby in trouble, dumps it out incomplete. Pryor was the safety valve, but Sorsby had to get rid of it late. Dominic Orange has just been devastating up there. Quick feet.
It looks like they're going to get a holding call. It's going to be insult to injury there. It looks like number 56, the right tackle, DeAndre Buford, who's played well today, got a hold of the jersey and didn't allow the rusher, number 52, Joey Peterson, to get to the quarterback.
Holding, offense, number 56, 10-yard penalty enforced in the previous spot. 2nd down.
That's a big call.
Yeah, insult to injury, like I said, right? Your quarterback gets hit. He does a nice job of getting the ball out before there's pressure, but away from that, a hold is called and they lose 10 yards. And I talked about this early in the game, starting behind the chains. It started after that first drive that was so masterful.
Yep.
They just haven't been able to stay on schedule, and there's another example there.
2nd and 20. And that one's dropped by Xavier Henderson. Concentration just wasn't there on that one. Heard footsteps maybe, but still need to catch
Tim,
that.
I got to disagree, Tim. As much as that's a drop and you expect him to catch it, if you're the quarterback, Sorsby, with no pressure, you've got to make that throw to a wide open guy. You've got to give him a chance, hit him in the chest with the football. That ball's far too low for a wide open target.
I hear you. 3rd and 20. And another drop. This one hit right in between the 0 of Tony Johnson. Tony Johnson had that one climb on him, did not reach out and pluck it, and they got to get rid of it here. I mean, they got to get rid of it.
Contrary to the previous throw, that's a really nice throw and nice placement by Brendan Sorsby, putting it on the outside shoulder away from the defense, but like you said, just a drop there.
So Mason Fletcher, who's had a poor punt tonight, has also had some high snaps, needs a good one right here. Jalen Knoll awaiting at the 43 of Iowa State. Oh, is he going to run it? He is. And he's going to punt it late. The old Aussie knows what he's doing. Gets a quality boot out of it too, doesn't he? Little Australian rules punting. And the magnificent job too, 56 yards when they absolutely had to have it. And this last drive was a thing of beauty, just textbook.
Yeah, I mean, it's the paradigm of what you want from a drive, that you want to try to put the game away. This is exactly how you want it to look. A few passes here or there, a few runs here or there, and then you finish it with your quarterback on the ground, fixing a mistake by the center and putting the ball in the end zone.
First down, Jalen Jackson is in the backfield behind Rocco Beck. Son of Anthony Beck, we've touched on it many times, now coaching in the UFL, former NFL star, West Virginia star. That ball's on the ground, comes late, but it is recovered by Iowa State. Rocco got on top of it.
2nd down.
So it is 2nd down. So they ruled him down before the ball came loose.
Yeah, I think he has the ball, and then when his butt hits the ground, the ball comes flying out.
And a good call.
Let's take a look there. No, that ball's out, looks like to me. It's very close, but they recovered it, so there's no real harm, no foul.
30-second timeout. Timer, please put 3:13 on the game clock.
I thought his derriere hit right there before it popped out.
Yeah, it was really close.
Yep. But as you said, it was recovered by Rocco, so only a 2-yard discrepancy.
Yeah.
Now think about what this means for Iowa State with what they have left on their schedule. They go to Utah next. That's a team that's really struggling offensively. And then, of course, they conclude with Farmageddon, and Kansas State has struggled tonight at home with Arizona State. There you see the final. If he doesn't turn it over, he can electrify you and beat you. And after Kansas did this team in, they're doing in a few others. That's Gabe Burkle on the receiving end there. Quick timeout with the ball up to the 33-yard line. Time to use your timeouts after a 6-yard gain. So let's look at the updated standings of where we are in the Big 12 without all the precincts reporting tonight. Okay, BYU in some peril, as we mentioned, with Kansas, and of course you've got Colorado really sitting pretty. Deion's got to be absolutely loving life at this stage. They look tremendous today in that victory on Big Noon. Arizona State's one of the great stories, huh? Ron Dillingham, what a job he's done. Dan Lanning's former offensive coordinator. And those are the rest of the games, as we mentioned, that Iowa State has left. And look, you got to take care of your business, get a little bit of help, but who knows, right? In this league, anything could happen. Everyone predicted the conference would cannibalize, and the cannibalization has begun. But to this point, BYU has dodged it. And to a certain extent, Deion Sanders and his Buffaloes have as well. With only one conference loss. There goes Rocco. I mean, I'd say he's looking to put a period on it, wouldn't you?
A period. He's looking for an exclamation point. Again, anything you can do, I can do better. We saw all day Brendan Sorsby running the speed option and picking up big yardage. How about Rocco Beck putting his legs on full display?
47 on the last 2 rushes, 47 yards in his last 2 carries. Now the clock goes tick, tick, tick. Abu Sama stopped after a gain of 2. The 2-minute timeout is coming up, but Cincinnati needs to use one as often as they can before we get there. And our power player, sponsored by Ram Trucks, should surprise no one. Built to serve. I think he's done this before when you and I have been on hand for a Cyclones game.
Yeah, it's like he likes when we call the game, huh? I mean, he showed great poise, right? He missed a few throws early, but since then, he has been money. And a lot of credit goes to his offensive coordinator as well, Taylor Mauser. These last few drives, he's put on a clinic on how to finish a football game along with his quarterback, Rocco Beck.
And the confidence that Taylor Mauser has in Rocco, who's a sensitive guy, okay? A lot of quarterbacks are. I've found that out this year.
Hold on now. I wouldn't call him sensitive. He's cerebral, right?
Yeah.
He's, you know,
well, with
he's
that,
in touch with his emotions.
There's Taylor. And he, you know, he shoulders all of the blame whenever it happens. And as he said, he spent his birthday back on Tuesday in the film room all day, all night.
Yeah, and he talked about not missing layups, right, last week. And tonight, he has not missed the layups very often.
If he did, it was inconsequential. We'll say that, right?
Didn't matter.
Sama wrapped up yet again. Nothing doing that time.
And as much as that is not a big gain, right, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It shows his improvement, knowing it's not always going to be the home run. Sometimes the defense wins, and you can keep it at minimal damage, and he does a nice job there.
Now, we saw his breakout in Farmageddon the end of last year in the snow in Manhattan, Kansas. And this year he has learned a great deal watching Carson Hansen and watching Jalen Jackson, 2 guys that have a lot more experience at the position than he does. But the ceiling on him is higher than...
Look how close this was, Tim. Just barely by the tips of his fingers. His nails were any shorter. If he would have got a manicure before the game, he wouldn't have got the ball. And he's an eraser, right? That's a huge mistake that could have been disastrous, but he erases it and turns it into a touchdown.
3rd down and 8. Abu Sama. 2 yards shy of the 1st down, so he gets 6, most of it on its own, and that, as you mentioned, that was a patient run.
Continues to improve. I've talked about it all day. These aren't huge Farmageddon-like runs. However, right, he's patient. He allows the blocks to develop, and then he gets underneath and picks up what he can, setting up a 4th and short. A very nice job by Abu Sama.
Which gives them a chance to close it out right here if they can get a 2-yard gain. they can do that, then it's on to victory formation.
And both these guys are option. Number 3 in black and number 24 in black.
Scott Higgins and Noel flanked to the bottom of your screen, and a quick timeout taken by the Cyclones. Friday night on Fox, another Big Ten showdown in prime time. Boilermakers of Purdue will take on Michigan State. The action begins at 8 Eastern, only on Fox. Jonathan Smith's had a representative first year.
Oh, man, that's a nice sweater. It's a nice hoodie.
Let's see, where will we be next week,
I don't
partner?
know.
I think we're there's an APB out on you near the big house.
Oh, yeah. How about that hoodie, though? Is that nice or what?
By the way, think about it now. Iowa State, they're going to wind up in all likelihood 3-0 with you on the microphone.
Yeah.
You're going to get to call your first game at your alma mater next week.
I know. How cool is that?
Yeah. What was your record?
And even better, against a team that I had my very first start as a quarterback in the big house against.
How about that?
Yeah, it's pretty
How
cool.
about that? We'll be on 3:30 on FS1 next week on the return home of Devin Gardner. Josh Sims and Tim Brando will be in a supporting role. 4th and 2. Go with an I formation. Quick pitch to Abu. Abu, you do.
They switch it up a bit and go play side guard here with the leader outside, and Abu does a very nice job of just getting down the middle. He sees the opening, and that home run hitting ability is on full display for a touchdown. His patience has paid off. His ability to sit and learn and watch has paid off, and he hits the home run on that touchdown.
Tell you, and if you have a chance to just talk to the young man,
Amazing.
the humility is palpable.
It was so cool to talk to him at practice yesterday. Untouched to the end zone. Patience, young man.
Oh, yeah.
Patience.
And Matt Campbell, by the way, I got to tell you, prior to the game with Farmageddon, they had 2 guys in front of him. They both transferred the week before Farmageddon.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, right before the game, he's not even on our depth chart.
Yeah.
He sends the assistant coaches over to see us. He said, look, we got 24. You've never seen him. He's going to play tonight. Just watch.
Yeah.
And all we ask is you don't say anything until the game starts. Yesterday in practice, he said, you did me a good on that one, didn't you?
Yeah. and we talk about the young man's patience. Speaking of patience, Iowa State had only 68 yards with 2 minutes left in the half. Now, how many you think? 386.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Patience by Matt Campbell and his football team.
When I think about the potential of what Farmageddon could mean if this Iowa State team gets some help. BYU is trailing right now. It's 34-17. Think about the 12-team playoff for just a moment, will you? And by the way, Boise State, talk about brand management or brand bias. Oh, they have a off game in a game we had. They drop a spot. Now, they hold their seeding, but they drop a spot as opposed to 13. See, that same thing doesn't happen to Texas. Same thing doesn't happen to, Tennessee or Georgia. Boise State can't get away with a bad game, and they better win them all. And they did come from behind to win against San Jose State tonight. Kiner gets ahead. He's been outstanding tonight too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really impressive. And it's just been, kind of shooting yourself in your own foot and getting behind the chain. So he couldn't be as effective as he could have been tonight, but he's really impressive to watch.
105 yards for Corey Kiner. By the way, in that game at San Jose State, Ashton Genty with another big second half performance after the Broncos fell behind 14-0 to open that game. Kiner again. Adding to his tote board inside the 45 to the 44. He's proving tonight he's a workhorse. Cincinnati still has a chance to get bowl eligible. They will be playing Kansas State next week in Manhattan, and K-State took one on the chin tonight at home to Arizona State. And then they close it out with TCU, who's been sort of a Jekyll and Hyde team too for Sonny Dykes. Josh Sims will have some interviews for us when we conclude this one, so stay right where you are. Sorsby slides down at the 34, and that should do it. I want to send out a shout out to our birthday boy tomorrow, Jeff Pyatt, our audio man, the best audio guy in Iowa tonight. He makes sure that we sound okay. Happy birthday, Jeff. 34-17, our final here. Those two great friends who worked together all those years ago at Toledo with a big hug. And they're going to start up a little Sweet Caroline, which is their tradition here in Ames, Iowa. There's the embrace with Coach Veit.